If I sound a little different, that's because I'm sick. And also, I'm using my phone instead of my regular mic. So I just got the Rona a few days ago, and man, I must have gotten a huge viral load to my face because I was really sick for a day. I haven't been that sick, I don't know, maybe since I was like a child, like maybe for 15 years. I'm recording this now on, I think, day 5 of having symptoms, and I'm still a little sick, but definitely much better than I was compared to that first bad day. Okay, so the really frustrating part is I really did not want to get COVID. And that sounds like a forehead thing to say, but I don't think a lot of people actually thought like that. Like, my goal was to get out of this pandemic and never get it. Like, literally never. And I think I was on the way to doing that. Now, in all likelihood, I knew if I got COVID, I'd probably be okay. Like, I'm young, I'm triple jabbed. But, with the question mark over the long term consequences, not just long COVID related symptoms like fatigue and brain fog, which is scary in and of itself. But leaving that aside, like, who knows what havoc this thing wrecks in your body without you even noticing for a while, right? Like, all the implications and potential damage still haven't been sussed out. It is maybe a little bit doomsaying for me to say this kind of stuff, and it's probably unlikely. But still, even though some people have resigned themselves a little bit, like, fuck it, if I get it, I get it. I was like, yeah, no, I'd rather not get this. Unfortunately, though, someone close to me, who I thought would know better, did drop the ball. I met up with this person and shared a meal and then a long car ride, which is what I think gave me the coof, because I was sat right next to her, like, talking for an hour. And then she mentions somewhere in between, like, oh, I have a bit of a scratchy throat. I was like, what? And she was like, oh, it's okay. I've had a sore throat on and off for a while. I tested myself this morning and it was negative. It's fine. It's probably just because I'm tired because I went out last night. Already, I'm a little pissed off. I'm like, I don't care what you tested. These rat tests are garbage. If you have any inkling of a symptom, like, I don't want to spend an hour sitting right next to you in a car with no mask. Like, you should treat any symptom as though you have COVID. At least let others know beforehand, because if she did tell me, I wouldn't have met her. Like, that was my one mistake. I thought too highly of this person, I guess. Like, I didn't preempt this shit by asking if they had any symptoms beforehand. I assumed they would volunteer that information to me. And this person, quite simply, I think, got lulled into a sense of security because a lot of people are tired of the pandemic and are acting as though it doesn't really exist. And I feel like that attitude is so widespread now. But people acting like it doesn't exist doesn't mean that it doesn't. Like, truth is, if this were 2 years ago, she would have been more vigilant and would not have met me. But hey, time has passed and I guess she's apathetic and bored now, so she gambles. And that's fine if she does it with her own health and that of her stupid friends. But don't do it to me, motherfucker. Well, lo and behold, she gets more sick as the night goes on, and the next morning she tested positive. And I wake up with a bit of a scratchy throat. The most frustrating thing is like how defensive she got when I brought up her part in this, when I expressed like my annoyance. Like, I know she didn't deliberately try to make me sick, but the point is, she had symptoms at all. Like, it's not deliberate, it's negligence. You just didn't care enough to stay vigilant. Like, if she was asymptomatic, then fine, like, what are you gonna do? You get unlucky. But she wasn't. And look, I've gone out during the last couple of years when I've had a bit of a sore throat or felt a little sick when it was probably nothing. But I still did it like with a mask and only to like run errands and shit. I would never sit right next to someone talking for ages in a tiny box, exchanging phlegm in the air with them. In fact, I've cancelled plans with people just because I had a scratchy throat and felt a little tired. To have worked like for over 2 years trying to avoid this thing and then getting it this bad is so fucking annoying to me. If there's one takeaway you have from this, it's like, just tell people before you meet them, like, if you have any symptoms, right? Even if they're mild and you think it's nothing, like, don't be a dickhead. Like, let them decide to take that risk if they want to. Don't impose it on them because you decided to gamble. Because you never know. You never know how they might react to this infection. I'm not saying you need to shut down your life or that we need to go back to enforced lockdowns or anything, but still, like, some individual responsibility needs to be exercised. Because whether or not you think it's cool or not to do so, like, this virus is still spreading and it shits on a lot of people. And look, I understand, like, amidst this bitching and feeling sorry for myself, I am lucky in that I only got it after I was vaxxed and I live in a place where I have my own room and bathroom and there was no massive inconvenience. Nonetheless, this is still garbage. Like, on that one day I was proper sick, my heart rate went up to like 130 or something. My resting heart rate, when it's usually around like 60 or 65. I guess my point is, this thing is no joke. COVID is still a thing. And, just keep that in mind. Like, it shouldn't dominate your life or your thoughts, but don't forget about it either. But yeah, I mean, there were things I wanted to do during this last week, and I just haven't been able to. I've literally just sat in bed doing absolutely nothing. What else has been going on? Well, I watched the new Batman movie and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Batman movie, not great, to be honest. At least I expected better. I don't know. It was alright, but I feel like it had a lot of plot holes and a couple of, like, pretty dumb moments, and it wasn't like cool enough the rest of it to like offset that. Everything Everywhere All at Once, really fucking good. Was surprised how good it was. Even though it was pretty long, it was all like very tight, very entertaining. Didn't feel like it dragged on too much for me. You know, had a nice, simple, comfy message to it, but delivered like in a non-cringe way. Just thinking about it, it was kind of insane how it merged like so many different genres in one, and so seamlessly. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But yep, that's all for today. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Pea soup.